Hey, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, interwebs. It's Kendall with lawnbot here, and Erik, the CTO, the code guru. If you've used our platform to purchase home services, um, that's him. That's us. If you're a client of ours, and you had a problem or a feature request, or you wanted to see the software do something cool, Erik's your guy that carries it out and makes it happen. It's Erik. Thanks for jumping on the stream with me.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. It's always fun to jump on these things with you. I see you on Facebook, just talking to people, getting feedback. It's pretty awesome to jump on here with you. And before the whole COVID thing happened, we were both hitting trade shows and chatting with real folks in the booths. And now we're kind of in this lockdown, so it's kind of fun to do this virtually. To keep on talking to people, keep on getting feedback, and as always, if you got anybody out there has questions or comments or want to learn something new or what we're doing, like leave a comment, right?
Yeah. If you're watching the stream, you have questions, comments. You want a direct answer to a feature request. Erik can answer that in real time. Drop it in the comments and he will be forced to answer it. But I thought it'd be kind of fun, especially under the current Corona situation we have now, especially being in the software world, we're stuck behind computer screens all day. But there's actually humans behind the software that are making it happen, whether it's on the sales or the technical side. So I thought it'd be cool to, chop it up with our CTO, Erik, here a little bit and learn more about him. So Erik, let's tell the interwebs, because once you tell the internet, it's truth, it's fact, right? So how did you
totally?
How did you hear about lawnbot? How are you on this stream today? Like, where did you come from?
Oh, well, I've been an entrepreneur for quite some time. I've started my own company. I had a company out in New York City, worked from kind of coast to coast virtually for different startups. And I ended up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is where my mother's children's my kids are from. And, so I was just hanging out in Grand Rapids looking for an opportunity. So I've been doing software consulting for a number of years and really looking to kind of jump in and do something meaningful. It's fine trading your time for money being a consultant, but it's really something different if you are an owner, if you're actually in there creating massive value for a particular industry. So kind of actually ran into Kendall when he was reporting out for the Start Garden 100. So Kendall threw lawnbot in there. If you haven't heard the story yet, you're gonna hear it again. To get $1,000 seed money to see what he can do with it. Did awesome. Did a report out, won our $20,000, and he was actually in a giant arena with all these guys and gals, entrepreneurs trying to start things. And I walked right by his booth. I didn't even talk to him. I'm like, lawnbot. I'm like, cool. A robot lawnmower. Sweet. That's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
I kind of walked by him, didn't really kind of get it right there and then, but we actually got introduced through an acquaintance for another startup, 86 Repairs. Joe, shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
Kind of said, hey, have you talked to this Kendall guy? Because he knew I was looking for an opportunity, looking to join something. And he's like, well, you should have coffee with this guy. And that's how we kind of met. We dated, internet dated, or entrepreneur dated, just chatting back and forth for probably a while, like 5-6 weeks, something like that. Just making sure that our personalities meshed. We were on the same kind of wavelength, that we really understood the market and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this guy's got something. He's got charisma, he's got chops, and he's fearless. And I'm like, that's the kind of guy I need to be with. So that's how I ended up here, and having a blast so far, just meeting everybody in the industry, learning something new, and then creating lawnbot.
Yeah. Did you think there was so much to lawn care before getting into that? I mean, because you came from lawn care, green industry. We work with all those folks now. Did you know there was like so many little nooks and crannies to, like, you would think it's just going in to cut grass or spread fertilizer or turn your irrigation system on.
Yeah, like liquid aeration, no clue what the heck that was. Like, we were down at Real Green Conference, and I picked up their pamphlet, which had all these adverts in there, and just kind of read them. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. But no, it's been like a wild and crazy. I mean, everybody in the industry is unique in their own way, and to kind of create a product to serve everybody the best way we can has been really kind of challenging. You had your own franchise, right? You had a lawn doctor franchise, and you knew that one inside and out. You kind of grew up with it with your family. And you're like, hey, this is how we sell lawn care. But when you go down to Atlanta or go down to Colorado or Denver or wherever it might be, they sell lawn care differently, and they have different problems and different things they're trying to address. So it's been like I thought people just showed up and mowed lawn and sprayed stuff. So it's been like really interesting. It's really interesting to meet the folks doing it. They're like just a hearty souled type people, just go out there. They want to do the best job possible, servicing their clients, and they're really knowledgeable. So it's been really kind of fun to learn about the industry and then meet the people behind that industry.
Yeah. And I'm surprised at how quickly you're picking it up. I mean, domain expertise is the variable of all this, right? Like and intent is important too. Like learning why people offer prepays and like how prepays in lawn care, like mostly all companies offer prepays, but then some people only offer 50% off the first app, or maybe they might give it off the last application, or they might do a free spray when you buy 6. Wouldn't you say like that's probably been the most complex part, is everybody's different pricing schemes and payments, and we really had to come up with a way to make it maybe easy but still customizable for a lot of companies?
Yeah, that's been the real challenge of this whole thing. Again, is we take price tables. Everybody, like somebody calls into a lawn care company and they say, hey, I need to have this is my square footage. This is what I want to have done. You have the human brain who has firing all these neurons, and they just like, okay, I need to do step 1, look at the price chart. Okay, step 2, look at the routes, that kind of stuff. And then, hey, if they're not interested at that point in time, you go, wait. What if I offered you 10% off or something like that? And just to take that kind of flow, that dynamic, that conversational piece, and bring it into a piece of software is, a super interesting problem to deal with. So to try to make, that's kind of why the entire lawnbot isn't a chat platform, because it's very conversational. And we want to help sell lawn care and other green services just, as you would over the phone. And to make that happen inside of software is challenging. So every time we think we're in a pretty good spot, somebody will come back and say, hey, do you do this? And we're like, no. And then we ask other people, hey, do you do this too? They're like, no, but that's a great idea. And
Right.
it's kind of fun. It's like one person will have an idea, then you check against the other people that we serve, and they're like, yeah, I should totally try that. And it becomes a thing. So it's fun to like not only learn about that, but also influence other people and help people make more sales for their company.
Right. Well, what's amazing to me is about the seasonality of it with lawn care. I don't know, maybe you could just talk about that a little bit. When you came on board, I think you officially came on board in like November, December-ish, like maybe the end of.
Yeah, we were still dating then, but yeah, just
like
we were working together. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of January before you really started playing around with my MVP that I built myself. Tell me about that process when you came in and you saw what I had built and pre-sold, by the way. I had pre-sold probably 20 bots or so, which enticed you to come on board. This wasn't just an idea. We had traction and revenue and signed contracts. But now we needed a scalable product. Tell me about that. Were you like, oh shit? Like,
no, I mean, what's cool, for people who succeed in this world, you got to be really kind of gritty. You got to be what I call a hustler, not like bad hustler, but you got to be able to hustle to get ahead in things. And the fact that you had very little software background and you were determined to quote unquote figure it out with anything that you could to make it work is like totally commendable. And that's kind of what sold me on lawnbot, was not just the product, the opportunity, the people behind it, but also, you across there, Mr. Kendall. But yeah, I mean, the platform that it was built on was, let's just say, not reliable, not scalable. And it was, what you were doing would take you, days, if not weeks, to kind of pull together. And if anything changed, then you would have to go back and rechange it and stuff like that. And obviously that's awesome for MVP, because you really want to understand, the market, like the solution.
Yeah.
You're not really so concerned about scaling at that point. But to come in, I think our first arrangement was just like, hey, we have 25, 40 bots prepaid, which is, again, fantastic. It's really good that you validated that market right off the bat. But also then to say, okay, can we build these things out the way that you had them? And then quickly the answer became no. It became very cumbersome. We tried to hack our way around just to essentially duplicate one and then put it towards the other one, just to get more coals in the engine to keep the fire going. And very quickly it became, no, this is not going to work. So we started
really early on. I remember you coming to me, and we were for 2 weeks. I think we were kind of playing around with my MVP and seeing if we could get that to scale easily. And you had come to me and said, there's just things I can't do inside of this off-the-shelf tool that I want to do. Like, I think one of them was assigning an array to an array, and I have a limited understanding of what an array is, but I understood that. Okay, well, what do we miss out on by taking a little bit longer and hard coding everything from scratch? And then that's when you set in, right? Like that was the longest period. Like every day I'm just like peeking over my shoulder, hoping like, where are you at? Like, how's it going? Because but now, you look back at January and where we are at now, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sales through that new platform, which, by the way, it's getting better every day. Super exciting to think it was. Even the modal, the modal was a new idea. Nobody has put together chatbots, conversations, and then modals, and now we're even throwing measur.it in there, which is we're just pushing the limits and making everybody else kind of hopefully live up to our level. So
yeah, it's been super interesting. Like we have this warped sense of perception. Kendall and I were like, oh, remember back when we were coding in the booth at the Real Green Conference? We're like, wait a minute, that was 3 months ago. We were quite literally coding people's bots in the conference and then holding meetings with them the next day. So it's a lot of fun. Again, the constant learning, constant talking with the folks out there, learning how they sell, what their sticking points are. It's been really kind of a lot of fun to deal with.
Tell me about that's we got the newest version 2. We've got the bot builder now. I think that's probably the most important piece of all this, right? Is the bot builder to build these things fast and a little bit more scalable too, where we could bring in somebody who doesn't need to be a code guru like yourself, but they can copy paste and get people's bots set up. And that bot builder is very technical, but the person putting the data in doesn't have to be super technical. And eventually we have even talked about maybe being self-serve, but for now it's all white glove service. So we do all of the work for you and connect it to the website and make sure that it's connected to your lead flow. Tell me about measur.it. So I've been talking about that for a while. I'd even pitch it during presentations to groups and stuff. This is what I believe. I think this is the future. When did you finally say, all right, enough's enough? I'm going to see if we can come up with something with measur.it.
Yeah, measur.it came out because we were solving a problem that many lawn care providers were constantly bringing up to us, and that's how do we know whether or not the square foot estimate is right? A lot of the industry has started off by using Zillow, the Zillow API, which has essentially user created data where you figure out not only square footage but the size of your house, that kind of stuff. So they make that available. So we were initially taking that data and then trying to quote unquote fit it to the best area. And of course, we're taking percentages off. We were looking at using different algorithms to do that. And it really never kind of could settle in, because every once in a while somebody would come back and say, hey, we misquoted by 7,000 square feet, which is a big deal when it comes down to pricing. So really became like we're constantly answering those questions, those sticking points, those pushbacks by our own clients. And one way we kind of figured out is, okay, how do we make somebody be able to actually measure their own lawn? And I'm not talking about customers who are interested in the lawn care service. And right now there's some solutions out there. Again, Zillow is across the board what people typically will use, but then they'll start using Google Maps, where they take a pin on a map and they kind of like draw a line, and they draw another line, and then all of a sudden it starts to fill in, and then you're starting to do this, and then you got to be really creative about how you can constantly get around your house, your swimming pool, all that kind of stuff. And I played with it for a while. I'm like, geez Louise, I am an engineer. That's my background. I have a degree in engineering, but not everybody's a geospatial engineer. Right. So we kind of looked at it and said, okay, what has everybody done? I guarantee everybody watching this, and maybe everybody who sees this in the future, probably has used MS Paint. It's probably went up there and grabbed a cursor or a paintbrush and started painting around.
Or if you're an Apple user, you're on your iPad Pro and just in that drawing tool with the Apple Pen. Like, people understand that. That's why they do it that way.
Absolutely. So using geo-coordinate math, which we do all for our clients on lawnbot, using measur.it, we essentially take the outline that they colored in, we convert to square footage, and it is darn accurate. We've had some of our clients test it up before we launched it, and they said it was within 100 to 300 square feet of their actual home measurement that they knew using a more advanced tool. So really, measur.it is a attempt to create a very user interactive, friendly tool that Grandma Karen, like you bring up Grandma Karen all the time.
Grandma Karen.
Anybody who doesn't have anybody who doesn't have any technical knowledge about how to do this, they know where their swimming pool is. They can go, okay, I'm not going to do it around the swimming pool. Okay. And then I know this is my neighbor's portion of it.
Right.
They know those details. And some of those details are even like, hey, I only want the front of my lawn or my sides of my lawn, treated. So again, with those Zillows and those other things, they take the entire lawn. So it's much more flexible. It's extremely user-friendly. And that's kind of where measur.it came from.
Tell me about the computer. So it seems like in the technology space, it's like you come out with a solution, you get it into the marketplace, you get user feedback, you get client feedback, and then you iterate, right? So the iteration we're on now with measur.it is, tell me with where we're at now on that. I think we're like 95% of the way there on success rate for drawings, unless somebody's really trying to maybe, I don't know. I can't even think of, maybe they have a cracked screen or something on their phone. I think that could be the only way that you couldn't get it, or you would intentionally not try to do it. But tell me about the computer vision and the AI that is coming in the pipeline.
Yeah, we're constantly looking, again, these problems that surface as we look through the flow is that some people, even though we show them a properly drawn example of a properly drawn lawn prior to them jumping into the tool, a lot of them are doing something different. Maybe they'll outline the perimeter of the lawn that they want service, but they won't actually color in every pixel that should be colored in to get the appropriate square footage. So. Yeah. So we're kind of looking at those different things, and we're looking at advanced technologies to figure that out. So one way is to use AI. That's called artificial intelligence. And what we can do is we take all the data that we've collected so far, all those imagery, properly colored in lawns and ones that are just outlined, and we can train a computer to think and recognize exactly, hey, this pattern, which we said looks bad compared to this pattern, which says looks good, I can probably figure out exactly which one it is within a certain degree of accuracy. So right now, we just have like little warning screens that pop up and say, hey, we don't think this is right. But in the future, we can use that AI to determine whether or not that is right. And if it is incorrect, the future is that we can automatically fill in their lawn for them. So it's really using computer vision AI all together to kind of really figure out what's going on. And it's really kind of fun. We've been sitting at home at night. I mean, this is kind of our fun side projects, sitting at home at night, drawing on lawns and collecting data, and then, all that good stuff. And got a team of top-notch people working on it.
Yeah, and we're teaching some entrepreneurship along the way, right?
Exactly right. So,
well, it's amazing to me that and what's the big issue we're trying to solve here? I mean, really, when it comes down to it, what are we helping companies with? And that's hopefully saving them time and money. Because the old way, the normal way, the way people are doing it now, there's two ways they're getting measurements or quotes. They're either physically going and driving out to the lawn and like getting a measuring wheel and like walking the lawn. And you think about how much time that takes just to drive there, drive back, measure the lawn, do your bid or whatever, hang it on the door, talk to the customer. That's like multiple hours, especially in today's contactless environment. Also, folks don't want to talk to anybody, or they prefer not to, especially right now. The other method would be to call into the office and you would have a human answer the phone. And while they're on the phone with, hey, Mrs. Jones, like, all right, I'm looking at your lawn now. I'm measuring it with you. Problem with that is your office, number one, has to be open. And two, you're limited by your human ability, right? So if you have 5 girls or guys or girls in the office and your phone lines are jammed, there's another 10 people that call in. How are they supposed to get a quote? They're going to hit voicemail. They're going to go to your answering service, or my worst case scenario is they call one of your competitors and they pick up the phone because you didn't. So, we're working our butts off trying to make sure that this is the best, easiest, buying experience. Wayne Brockman in the comments, one of our customers in New York. Shout out to New York. We love New York. He mentioned he only runs into issues when they circle their property. And Wayne was actually one of our first users on Measur.it. And we've actually rolled out some updates. I don't know, Wayne, if you've seen that, check it out if you haven't been through it in a while. Now, if you circle, they should get a message saying, hey, are you sure this is what you want? You're confirming we will only service colored in areas. And the best part is, in the email that the company gets, it shows the drawing that the customer did, right? So you can literally send that to your customer and say, hey, you only did this, and we explained to you thoroughly, and you still didn't do it that way. But again, that's less than, I would say, probably 10 to 15% of, I would say the majority of folks do it correctly. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about the positive part of it. Makes me really excited seeing the sales roll in. And boom, like I get excited when like somebody like literally, you could tell they like drew with their finger and like did a perfect measurement. And I'm like, oh my gosh, honestly, that's better than if I came out to the lawn and did it with a wheel. Because I can tell you right now, when I was at Lawn Doctor and I'd have a stack of 20 estimates driving lawn to lawn, I just look at it and be like, oh, that's about 7,000 square feet. Like, you don't have time. You don't have time to measure every single lawn. So,
yep. It's really kind of fun too, because we have this program called Slack. It's our instant messenger, and we have what's called the sales channel. And it's really, we get more excited about like, our client sales than our own. Because, we're like, hey, we sold through lawnbot 29, 30 sales. And we're like, high-fiving each other. We're looking at like, virtual high five because of course, social distancing. But also we'll take a look at those measurements. Those pictures come through in that feed too. And a lot of times we're like, whoa, guys, look at this. This is an awesome measurement by a customer who wants lawn care.
Yeah.
And we should probably do a show like that, like awesome measurements from Measur.it. Kendall, we'll sit there on the screen and we'll go like, dang, that's precise,
Or Measur.it fails. Remember, I would just slack you. Like, I was like, what in the is this person doing? Are they, I don't know. Like, you see that they do like 2 lines and you're like, what the hell's going on? Like 90% of America can get it right. And like that 10, we're trying to solve for that 10%, figure out, are they intentionally doing it? Are they unintentionally doing it? Or is their screen cracked? Who knows? But
Yeah, but it's also important for us to do that, right? So most companies would like go, hey, sorry, it's not our problem. We'd give them instructions. It's not our problem. They messed up. Now you, as a lawn care provider, you guys deal with the fallout. We don't want that to happen. We want to stop them, detect it, get them to correct it before you ever have to provide quotes. Because that's just uncomfortable conversations with a potential client. If you call them up and said, "Hey, you did it wrong," they said, "Well, forget you. I'm going to go with somebody else then."
Right.
And then you potentially can lose them. So we take that very personally as well. We want to provide massive value, and part of that massive value is to make sure that the end customer, gives you a correct estimate to go off your price sheets.
Well, what's really interesting is watching the data come in. Is I hear story after story of, whether it's Fit Turf out in Colorado, other companies that we work with mentioned, even if they don't sign up through lawnbot, the client had such a good experience being able to shop right away and have instant, feedback with that lead, that it really tees up the sale nicely for them over the phone. So they go through the bot, they get the spiel, they measure their lawn, they have a square footage, and then, a friendly voice calls them on the phone. Hey, Mrs. Jones, thanks for going through our lawn bot. Saw you didn't sign up, and you said that you used X company, last year. What else can I do from you, or what else can I do for you to help you feel comfortable moving forward with us this year? I want to be the company out there taking care of your lawn. And it goes a long way, even if they don't buy through the bot. Of course, we're always trying to move that conversion rate as high as we can get it. But what's on the horizon, Mr. CTO? What are you excited about most in the next month and a half working on?
Well, we definitely have, we're continuing our integration with Real Green to make sure that data flows properly. So, again, if for our Real Green customers, we are integrated with their CRM, which means that when you make a sale, it goes in as a sale into your CRM, which means there's no additional back-end paperwork for anybody to go in and take your email and then type it into CRM and then make contact and so on and so forth. We're going to take care of all that for you. And we're looking at different integrations that we can do. So that's really kind of the fun stuff, is to figure out how we can improve your overall process, whether that's sending out text messages on your behalf, like integrating with ZipWhip. All those kind of things are really kind of fun. Other fun stuff that I'm kind of really looking forward to is expanding our platform into other areas. So like, for example, like a Facebook bot through voice prompts, like some kind of voice management system.
Yeah.
Really kind of like taking the idea further of helping you guys close sales, no matter where they interact with your company online, whether that be Facebook, through your lead form on your website, through the phone. We're looking at different ways to just do a quick MVP, a quick trial to see how effective we can be in that. And it's kind of, again, really putting our value prop in the forefront, which is to help lawn care and the green industry people make some more sales.
Well, from our client side, make more sales, but I think the ultimate vision, like the ultimate in an ideal world, right? If everything was perfect, if I'm a homeowner and I just moved in, and maybe I didn't live in the area, maybe I was from like Florida and I moved to Michigan, and there's dandelions popping up in my lawn, and we're like, honey, we should like hire a lawn care service. Okay, well, let me go on Google and look up reviews. I go to their website. I'm able to measure my lawn instantly, get an instant price, and sign up and pay and become a customer within 3 minutes. And then they come and do my first treatment the next day. That is like, from a customer experience standpoint, from like when we acquire the lead to selling them to like delivery of the service, that's creating that wow factor. And I think like we want to help our clients delight customers in a big way. And I think we can do that if, they're buying through the bot in 20 minutes or 3 minutes or however long it takes them to do the deal. And then we're delivering that product within 24 hours. Like that's the vision, right? So, and it's even bigger with pest control. We're starting to get a lot of mosquito companies. We got Mosquito Mike out in Mass. We got some interest from some mosquito hunters. We got Fight the Bite down in Missouri. And they're interesting. So they're actually a pest control company. But I don't think it's limited to just lawn. I think I think, if bugs are out there on the patio and the deck and they're zooming around us, and we're like, we need mosquito service now. Like I should be able to go and book it like right now. Easily, beautiful, through their website. And I'm sure you've seen it too, Eric. Like there's companies that are out there that are trying to be the Uber of lawn care or the Uber of home services. Beth Berry said, and Real Green Integrated. Darn right.
You know it.
Shoot that video right in. And soon we'll be fully integrated with the payment processing as well. So we'll be able to use your Real Green payment processing right inside of lawnbot. Super excited about that. But Eric, why do you think the Uber of lawn care companies, they're trying to be the marketplace solution? Some of them have been around for 10 years. Lawn Love, for example, almost started 8 or 9 years ago. Some of these companies have been around a long time. None of them are getting traction. None of them are all over the country, or they're growing by leaps and bounds, even though they seem to be raising venture dollars. So why do you think they're not stealing market share? Why is that? From your perspective as an engineer, you haven't been in lawn care. What is your synopsis of that?
Yeah, I really think it becomes down to like really knowing who you deal with, who's going to actually come out. So you make that payment, you send it out. Hey, when you get an Uber, you don't know who's going to show up. It's who's available, and you really don't know the reputation of who's available at that point in time. So I think a lot of people, they take pride in their home, they take pride in their lawn. Some people are very fanatical about their lawn. They really want it to look like, a golf course type thing. And how do you know who's going to show up to do that if you're just at an Uber of lawn care kind of site? So I really think, my perspective is, and again, I'm sure you have the same or a similar perspective, is that people want to deal with reputable companies. They want to see people who have, Google reviews. They want to see people who are, take pride and have a great training regimen for their people. That's my perspective on it. Is like I again, if I'm going to have anybody show up, mow my lawn the first time, and then if I don't sign up with them and I do the Uber of lawn care again, who's going to show up? The same person,
right?
A different company.
Yeah.
Like what's the reputation? So I think I don't think it's going to catch on. I think, it's kind of like Groupon in a sense too. Groupon, for businesses, a lot of times you get those Groupon shoppers who just want it as cheap as possible, but they never actually completely frequent the establishment, and they don't get raving fans of that establishment. They just go look for the next Groupon and go to a different restaurant when it's more inexpensive. So
yeah,
that's a hard way to run a lawn care business and to really create, loyal customers.
And here's why what we're doing is super interesting to me is all of our companies that we work with, are up to 82 companies that are on board with lawnbot. They already have tons of leads coming in, thousands of leads actually. Some of these companies are in Xperia Green, for example. They're in 5 markets. They just made their first sale yesterday through the bot, so we're super excited to have them on board. But these companies already have leads coming in and have great reputations. They're great local businesses that are part of the community. For example, out of Detroit or Metro Detroit, Lush Lawn. These are all local businesses. They were started by local entrepreneurs. They're a part of the community. Their kids go to school with your kids. People want to do business with local businesses, and to have a brand that they can call if there's ever an issue. It's pretty tough, and I've read a lot of the reviews. If you go on the App Store and read some of these Uber of lawn care company reviews, the customer service is subpar. I mean, it's not the best, but our thought is we're going to deliver better technology directly to the companies that are delivering all of the value, i.e. the actual companies, because the whole value chain is people just want a green, thick, weed-free lawn. So we're going to deliver that technology directly to the businesses, to Lawn Doctor, to Lush Lawn, to MyFurt, to Xperia Green, to allow them to provide the best sales experience for their new customers.
24/7. Don't forget to put 24/7 in there.
365. I just get kind of heated up because these Uber lawn care companies are trying to be the middleman, work to the whole value exchange. And you see a lot of them pivoting into being CRMs because they can't make a sustainable business model being the middleman, because they're not really doing anything other than creating software. We're enabling our companies to provide better customer experiences, delivering their own services. So our companies give us their price tables, they have their programs, we use pictures of their team, we use their logos. So I think there's really something to be said for that. And the results that we're getting for our companies, I haven't looked at it lately. I think, what are we running conversion rate wise? Like 8 to 10%-ish, depending on how big the company is.
Yeah, it depends on the market, but so some people are just killing it. Other people are a little bit lower than that, but yeah, on average, around that 9 to 12%.
Yeah.
And it's again, when I threw in there 24/7, what's really fun is that a lot of these leads and these closed sales are coming in at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, or on a Saturday and Sunday. And guess who's not open during those times? The lawn care companies. So
right.
It's really kind of an awesome situation to have your salesperson on 24/7, especially in this COVID time where perhaps some sales folks aren't making it into the office and they can't field those leads and they're going into the mailboxes and everything else. It's just a really awesome technology to have.
Well, and when you look at the cost of overhead these days, meaning human employees, it seems like everybody's trimming headcount these days because nobody knows what the future is going to hold. So when you look at the cost of a salesperson against lawnbot, our package starts at $3.99 a month. Last I checked, if I had to hire a salesperson, I'm paying that person at least $3 or $4 grand a month, plus a commission for a good one. So cost benefit, right? What do you most, let's get into some juicy stuff. What has our biggest fail been so far? Like something we were super excited about. We put it out, we got it into the marketplace, and then we're just like, that didn't turn out how we expected, and we totally just scrapped it. I have an idea in my mind what it was.
Man, you should have sent the question before you had this thing. It's like failures to me are just different. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I've been running businesses and starting businesses for 10 years. So I see failures as good things. Good things as we threw out something real quick and then it didn't work and we moved on. So yeah. I don't really focus on those. I mean, we've our first square footage widget was
that's what I was thinking of, the slider,
which everybody did not like at all at the Roseman conference.
I think it just was confusing people. They're like, yeah. Well, wait, what? They can change. So I think.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing is, like, if you ask me how many square foot my lawn is, I have no idea. Like, I'm a regular consumer. I'm going to be like, well, about, a quarter of an acre. Like, what kind of square footage? I have no idea. But I could actually say, I think about 30% of my lawn is probably mowable or something like that. So, I mean, that was, again, that I was quite literally involved with lawnbot for, I think, 4 weeks at that time. So that was a newbie. And, when you have newbies come in, people from outside the industry, sometimes you get very unique perspectives. So I'm just going to call that a unique perspective that just completely failed miserably. But
visually, it was really cool, honestly, if you ask me, that little slider. So folks that never saw it, maybe we should not talk about it, but folks that never saw it, was basically, back in the Zillow days, pre-measur.it, we had an ability, we were testing out a slider. So basically you could change the percentage that you were subtracting from the lot size in real time. And looking back, like measur.it is clearly like the best path forward, but we were just railing on this fact of the measurements. Like, that's the big thing in all this, is getting the measurement right. And I think measur.it so far has proved itself to be a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of evolution, right? Like, ideally, we would love them not to even have to do that. And that's where our AI work is coming in, is as we collect these data points, we are training AIs to go ahead and try, hopefully, quote, fill in the lawn for them and just display an image and say, hey, this is what we believe your mobile surface is, or your treatable surface. Is this correct? And that is where we want to be. We want to be where, anytime you have to ask a user, this goes back to experience design, is anytime you have to ask a user to do something that's potentially scary, you could potentially lose them as a customer. So we are constantly looking at friction points. But, at the same end, we kind of talked about that it's very, very important for the lawn care companies to have accurate measurements. And that's right now what Measure.it does for us. So as we collect this data, we are constantly training AI. We're not consulting, but kind of talking with some people from MIT who are interested in maybe like really hitting a home run with this thing. So we're constantly looking for different opportunities to improve that process flow and make the tools better and the sales process better to kind of close more deals.
Yeah. Shout out to Danny Fitz. Danny Fitz. You'll learn more about Danny Fitz here shortly. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, looks like we're about 40 minutes. Everybody, thanks for that tuned into the stream. Thanks for tuning in. I will probably do more of these just because we went from me and Erik hanging out at Start Garden every day, literally working a desk away from each other. Now we have to communicate through Slack and email, which is fine. It's actually better in some ways. It forces you to, I would always bother Erik, like, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Like, I'm just throwing new features on him just because I'm available to him. But now it forces me to like think about, hey, does this need to be sent now, or can it wait till like later when he's not coding something, a fix, a patch for something? Probably another big fail, not a fail, but just a friction. Now that I think of it, was Edge and Firefox. When we first released our version, we tested on Chrome because everybody uses Chrome. Mostly everybody uses Chrome. There's a percentage out there that don't.
And Safari, right?
In Safari.
Yep.
Like the modal wasn't opening on Firefox. So there was a period of time where Firefox people like couldn't use lawnbot if you were a Firefox person. We've learned. We're learning quickly. We're iterating fast. Yeah. Very solid product now. And from a hosting standpoint, we host it at Amazon, right? And you mentioned this thing called Amazon Lambda that spins up. So there might be, when we're watching analytics right now, there's 4 people on the bot. Keep looking up at that, like see where we're at in sales, and I want to know how many people are on it. And we use Amazon Lambda to host. So as demand spikes, it spins up more servers or something, right? How's that?
Yeah. We can do that as a separate. If you guys are interested, leave a comment. If you're interested in like the architecture behind this, it's sort of advanced. It's not just like we don't have a computer in the closet someplace hosting all our lawnbot stuff. It is quite sophisticated. It's called a serverless technology, hosted on Amazon. But if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about that, I'm happy to do like another webcast here. We can just kind of chop it up and talk about how potentially, theoretically, we're almost infinitely scalable. So if everybody in the world right now wanted to go to everybody's contact forms and throw traffic at lawnbot, it could definitely handle it. So I don't, please, don't try to do a denial of service on lawnbot. I'm gonna put that caveat out there. I think it is almost infinitely scalable.
Oh man,
we're gonna get a big bill. Bill.
Add that to your production list, Erik. Pen testing.
Yeah. Somebody's right now like, we're gonna go crash lawnbot there. Yeah, let's do it. So no, just kidding. But it's very scalable, and if you guys again are interested, go ahead, leave a comment. Maybe we'll do that as a different topic, a different day.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. It'd be cool to just maybe not dive into the secret sauce, but just from really high level, talk about how we've come up with the stack that we've come up with, and kind of how we anticipate it like changing over time. But I didn't even know what a stack was before we got into this. I'm like a block and tackle lawn care guy. I know how to do telemarketing and sales and do that whole thing, but like coming into this tech space has been super interesting for us, and talking to people that maybe aren't from this space and understand this space, home services, for example, and how big it could be. I mean, this problem isn't just lawn care. It's every home service. If you want to book moving for your house, home cleaning, pool cleaning, pest control, lawn care. Like, this is a theme that runs throughout, and the only way you can buy from those companies is going to their website and filling out the contact form and waiting for somebody to call you, which is always painful, or calling the office and leaving a voicemail and waiting for somebody to call you. Like, most companies, unless they have a call center, they're not gonna be able to serve you instantly. And in today's economy, people want instant access. They want to be able to buy on their time. I think it's just a matter of time until more people see that. So more people, meaning people that don't see it now, that think it's not a big enough market. So on that note, that's all for now. 45 minutes long. Erik, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go get some lunch. And we'll get back to work here. We got lots of emails from clients to keep serving them. So hope everybody's doing well. Kendall with LawnBot signing off. Erik,
signing off too. Thanks for having me. It was fun to be on one of these for once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. See you guys.
Yep, see ya.